Hello, and welcome to the third installment of What's Behind Mr. Langhorst's Desk. So, each week I let you guys vote on four objects, and I pick the one that you guys give the most votes to, and I tell you the story of why that object is revered enough to be on Mr. Langhorst's shelf behind his desk. I've got limited room, so it has to be something pretty meaningful to be put on the desk. Now, we had a really close vote for the number three item. Two things tied. We had the stopper and we had the Hufflepuff pin. Now, the Hufflepuff pin has come in second twice now. So, it was tied. I'm going to tell the story of the stomper, but I promise that probably next week at some point I will tell you the story of the Hufflepuff pin as well. But today we're going to focus on the stomper. All right, so I'm growing up in Howells, Nebraska. It is 1983. I am 12 years old, and you have to realize that I was growing up in a town of about 600 people. We had a grocery store, we had a cafe, and a library, all that kind of stuff. But we didn't really have that many places to go and like shop and things like that. So we would have to drive like typically about a half hour, 45 minutes to go to most places, to go to any sizable town that would have something like a Shopko or a Walmart, stuff like that. One place that we would go was Schuyler, which was about probably 25 minutes away or so, and that was our county seat. And I remember that they had a farm store that we would go to sometimes, and they had some like little toy tractors and stuff like that, and they had one of these. And what this is a stomper. It was made in 1983. Okay, and this is a blazer. They had different models of it. This was a blazer, and when I saw this, I thought it was like the coolest thing ever, because we actually had a blazer. So my dad had a 1978 blazer. If you know anything about trucks and stuff, it's one of those that's like really big and high, and it wasn't like we went like mudding and monster trucking and stuff like that, but it was a cool big vehicle type thing. So we had a blazer, so it kind of fit that. It wasn't exactly the same colors and stuff, but this was a motorized toy. So you had a AA battery that you popped. You popped this open. You got a AA battery inside, and it would then like move. So I don't have a battery in it. I don't think it works anymore. But underneath, you have a little switch, and one is for high, and one is for low. So that was the speed, and then this thing would like automatically like these things would turn, and it had pretty good torque. So what happened is you could like make little like obstacle courses and stuff for it. So if you took this thing outside and you were careful with it, you could build like a bunch of like hills and stuff out of dirt and stuff like that, and you could have it like go over the hills and stuff, and it would just go by itself. Or what I like to do in the wintertime is you could like lay out like a blanket, and you could put a whole bunch of different like books underneath the blanket, and you could create like some really crazy terrains and like see how steep you could get different kinds of hills made out of the blanket or like a sleeping bag, and see how steep it could go. Or you could build stuff like up on like a staircase, and you could then try and test it and see like how steep it would go and things like that. So that's what it actually does. But the reason why I have it behind my desk is because when I asked for one of these, I remember asking my dad if I could get one of these, and I think they were maybe like $7 or $8. Now, $7 or $8, 1983 is a little bit different than $7 or $8 today, but I can remember my dad said that he wasn't going to get it for me, but I could basically work for it if I really wanted one of these. So one of the things that we did around the house, kind of like for chores, I guess, or whatever, is we had a wood burning stove in our living room. So that's how we would heat our house, was we had a wood burning stove, and we'd have to bring in like firewood and stuff to like feed it when we needed to warm up the place. And so the way that I could earn money to get this was by doing so many days of like bringing in firewood and stuff like that into our house. So The cool thing for me about this is, besides just it being like a cool toy, was I really felt like I earned it because I had to physically do work to be able to earn the money to buy it, and then when I bought it, it actually meant a lot more to me. And I think that was a really valuable lesson for me at that age of kind of like instead of just getting something, really working for it. So that's why this thing sits behind my desk, because number one, it reminds me of a cool toy that I had, but number two, I think it was one of the times where I really kind of thought about the value of like earning something and working towards something. So that's why it's behind my desk. But I don't. I put a battery in it the other day, and I don't think it works anymore. It had lights that lit up. I mean, this thing was cool. If you try and buy them today off of eBay, if you get like a good condition one, I think they're like 50 or $60. But it was an awesome, awesome toy back in 1983. Wow, 1983 seems like a long time ago. So the Stomper. That's why this is behind Mr. Langhorst's desk. All right, stay tuned for next week when we have a couple more items, and we'll see if something can possibly get enough votes to be the fourth thing in what's behind Mr. Langhorst's desk. All right, thanks, guys.